been a little bit of a lifelong quest for me to try and find a sequencer that is fun to use in Ableton. I've used countless sequences over the many years that I've been doing this, and most of them I've really disliked, to be honest. Like, it's just so mind-numbing to use sometimes. But there's this one sequencer that honestly, I've been doing a bit of a resurgence on YouTube as of recent. I don't know why, because it was made in 2009. It's a sequencer that was inspired by a Eurorack. Eurorack is often really difficult to use, and this one was specifically made to be really intuitive. So the developers took that sequencer and made ML185. I don't know if ML stands for Max for Live. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I tell myself. And there's 4 steps to incorporate this into your workflow. Check it out. So let me just introduce you to ML185. If I hit play here, you can see it like scans across here. So we have 8 what are called stages. Each one of these stages corresponds to a vertical column here. So down the bottom left, we have the clock timing, and that's 1/16 notes. This is the root of all electronic music. Just leave it at 1/16 notes for now. Each one of these controls 1/16 note. And so we have 8 steps, or they're called ticks in this case. I hate the word ticks, so I'm going to call them steps. First thing we can do, just hit this random button, and that's just going to give us random pitches. So now it's repeating every 8 steps. When this becomes actually interesting and fun to use is by just hitting these buttons down the bottom here. For example, let's just click some random things and see what happens. I'm just going to just click around, give you an example, and then I'm going to explain it in a moment. Don't worry. Sounds pretty freaky right now. Currently chromatic, there's no scale locked on, so we can shape that up later. So we have this 8 steps, and down the bottom, these numbers, 1 to 8, tells you how long this sequencer is gonna stay on this step. Keep this in mind here, the length. It changes as you click these buttons. If I hit 2, it goes to 9. If I hit 3, it goes to 10. And that's because we're staying on this step for longer. This is how many 16th notes we're staying on each step. It's going to extend the length to 9 steps, and it's going to be like a polymeter. I'm convinced that this thing is made to just click buttons and see what happens. We also have this section in the middle here, and this dictates whether we have a rest, whether we play the note, whether it repeats, or whether it is tied and holds the note. If we hit repeat on the note, then the step division thing pops up, and this just dictates how frequently the note is played. So I have this on 4 and this on 1. It's going to play 4 16th notes, and it's going to play every single one of those 4 16th notes. All right, so I'm just going to click around and see what happens. So right now I've got 18 steps over here, and that is giving us an interesting rhythm. If I want to like clean it up and get it back, then I can bring the length down and look for when we hit something like 16 or 12 or 8 or something even. And I can also try and like add steps to make it hit something as well. So I'm just keeping this number in mind. Let's just see what it does. Perfect. Now you understand everything on this page. I mean, we didn't talk about the stages, the fixed length, this step division, that just changes all of the step divisions all at the same time. We can play it forward, backwards, and then randomly as well. What I actually want to show you is how we can use this a little bit more musically as well. So I'm going to go grab a scale MIDI effect and put it here. Putting this after this sequencer is going to define the notes, so it only plays the ones that are in a particular scale. So I could choose a minor scale, and now we're just playing in C minor. I'm also going to keep an eye on these scale boxes, and you can see which ones it's highlighting. And now I can actually like use this course tune and tune it around and just try and like, you know, hit particular ones. So if So I know that this is my C root note here. This is like my low C note. If I'm hitting that, then I know that I'm kind of like in home base, right? So now it's doing its thing in a particular scale and I can see which notes it's hitting. Great. If I want to remove notes, I can actually click them as well. That gives you kind of interesting things. So in each vertical column here, it's like transposing your note. So you can transpose up. And you can kind of make your own scales based on a scale that's already there. This isn't a scale video. That tip's for free. I don't know. Okay, so now it's sounding a little bit more musical. Let's step it up a notch. First thing I'm gonna do is grab a chord MIDI effect and put that into my signal chain. So like if I put this up 3, now we're kind of in the realm of a minor chord. And maybe if I go up 7, now I've got a minor chord. Awesome. And it's kind of sounding more dub now. So now we have chords. I can actually hit this hold button as well, and that's going to hold the chord down at the sustain point here, at this sustain point, wherever we set this sustain point. So if the sustain point's all the way down, it's really plucky. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to play it once and then hold it, but the thing's already going to be decayed. If you put the sustain up, then it's going to hold it as opposed to just playing it once. Kind of cool. I'm also going to mess with this strum. That's pretty cool. By the way, I haven't mentioned that there's 2 other pages here. I've got no idea what aux does. Velocity also, that's velocity. We know what velocity is. I didn't need to tell you what velocity is, right? Velocity is cool because you can map it to other stuff as well. So if I was to go over to my wavetable and actually go into MIDI and go into the velocity tab, we can take that away from amp and like map it to oscillator position, oscillator warp. I can map it to filter frequency, and that actually makes this velocity page more usable as well. It gives you interesting things. So I might just bring this down. You can literally mess around with this thing forever. But I'm just gonna try and create something completely different than what we were just doing and see if I get some new ideas. So right now it's at a point where it's spitting out interesting ideas for me, but now I want to like actually take those ideas and control them and put them into songs and make music with it. If you struggle to turn loops into actual ideas, arrangements, mixdowns, finished tracks, release, the likelihood is it's probably one of the steps in your process that you're not super clear with. Being clear with your process means that you can be confident with making music. It's hard to have that confidence without the process first. So here on this channel, I just give out my process to anyone that wants it. It's free and it's in the top line of the description. Go grab it. This is often the hard part about using something like this. Like, how do I make that into a song? So what you can do is you can record the MIDI that this stuff is generating you, and then take that MIDI and like edit it and shape it up and see what it's actually doing. So probably the best way to do this is to switch over to Session View and make a new MIDI track. And then in the MIDI input here, get the MIDI input from sequence or whatever this track is labeled, probably just MIDI 1. If I monitor the input, you can see that the MIDI is coming in there. It's getting recorded. I can just hit record here. And you can see that it's recording everything that it's doing. Now I can simply just mess around and everything is being recorded in there. So then I can go back later and capture parts that I like and actually use them for things. So let's hit record. And now let's just mess around. Oh, okay, I like something in here. This has got an interesting little vibe there, right? So I just Now what I'm gonna do is go over here and actually copy like the instrument and all the effects and the processing that I had on. Paste it over here. I'm also gonna make sure that I switch over to off now, so I'm not monitoring the input. I can actually take this input off. I would recommend, to make things more simple, just delete this sequencer as well. We can save as a new project, but delete the sequencer. Now we're using the things from the sequencer. We don't need the device anymore. We're trying to get out of the sequencer as quick as possible. This is because of a few reasons, but one big one being the sequencer doesn't save very well because it's a 2009 device that hasn't been updated. So I'm gonna go into a section and just like loop a 4-bar section in here, and I'm just gonna drag this loop around and see if I can find anything interesting. Here. Oh, that's an interesting little section there. I like that. I could just duplicate that over. Oh, got a little bit of a chord progression. Oh. Oh my God, it's so much fun going through here and just like, it just gives you ideas. So even just this section here is really interesting. That's so much fun. That is hours of endless fun. I really enjoy using this sequencer. Essentially, the same thing applies. If you want to make a bass line, you could do that. It's really good at bass lines. It's really good at leads. It's really good at arpeggios. Probably isn't so good at like pads or something, but you don't really need a sequencer for that. Have some fun. Mess around with it. I might do some more videos like this. I enjoyed this video. Did you enjoy this? I don't know. We shall see in the comments, I guess.